This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by Cycle Cai. They're a company that does collections a whole new way. They know that not only do you want your money back, or they know that not only do you want your money, you want to keep your customers, but you don't want to keep them cold. Cycle Cai. They collect with respect.
It is a dark world, not our world. That's how Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon once described his neighboring state of Lebanon. Much the same has often been said of New Hampshire's neighboring state, Massachusetts. The comparison is not without cause, and it doesn't fail to cross my mind as I bounce from bump to bump on a forced visit south. We have seen in previous articles the path that led to this place.
Laws that are unjust. We have to show people that things are bad.
The Fearless Civil Disobedience by Keene resident Russell Canning, jailed for attempting to enter the Keene IRS outpost with his petition for a redress of grievances. My own imitative visit to Nashua's Internal Robbery Squadron office, and the $100 distribution of handbills fine Washington attempted to levy in violation of its own Constitution, in apparent breach of Amendments 1 and 10.
Cycle Cai. Cycle Cai.
We have seen my own refusal to pay the fine or accept a taxpayer-funded lawyer. And we've witnessed Washington's retaliatory move, a 4-day jail sentence. Now, secretly at first, I am placed into a Massachusetts transport and spirited across the state line. I examined the mobile quarters I have briefly been assigned. Small enough to be uncomfortable, large enough to ensure a broken neck in the event of a rollover. My hands are shackled to my body, and my body to nothing. I would tumble helplessly until the fatal snap. But there is no disaster. During the 1-hour ride, during which deputies treat me well, or after the 1-hour ride, I should say, I enter the Essex County Jail in Middleton, Massachusetts. Unloaded at the facility's intake area, I soon have a new opportunity for civil disobedience. A guard approaches me with paperwork and begins snapping out questions. "He's not going to answer," says my ride. A calm officer named Mastone. The guard does not share Mastone's tranquility. "Great, just great," she says, and storms away. I failed to get her name, so from here on out, we'll just call her Angry Guard. Refusal to answer government questions is a technique I have studied and practiced, but never in a jail before. Fortunately, others have gone before and given the rest of us a chance to learn from their mistakes. From the writings of Russell Canning at nhfree.com and the advice of the Christian anarchist pastor Paul Revere, I learn and am ready to follow a course of partial, respectful non-cooperation. Officers, nurses, supervisors begin to surround me. Date of birth? I will not tell you. Any medical or psychological problems we should know of? I certainly will not tell you. That's interesting. I think you might be bipolar. On what basis? You seem too happy. Maybe I am happy. You seem cocky. If I seem cocky, I apologize. I intend no disrespect. Those 4 words become the most important in my vocabulary. I intend no disrespect. Will you submit to a TB test? Maybe. Check back in 5 minutes. Why are you refusing to answer some of our questions? It's civil disobedience, I say. But at this early stage, I do not have the message honed. They don't really get it, but they realize I'm not hostile, and gradually they start to relax. They ask my religion. I eagerly answer that one. Christian. I agree to the TB test.
Eventually, I am escorted to a booking area to be photographed and fingerprinted.
A young officer, Matthias, is in charge of the machinery and presents me the same questions I've already declined. He takes it calmly and asks to hear more of my philosophy. When Matthias realizes I am in custody for refusing to pay a $100 distribution of handbills fine, He says, "I don't think you belong here." I invite him to nhfree.com. I tell him that if he ever becomes uncomfortable with the things his employers ask him to do, he should look us up. I hint that he should quit his job, but later regret this. It is not necessarily a bad thing to have good people in government jobs. Now an inmate enters on drug charges. We gripe about the drug laws. He brightens. More discussion. I am introduced to a plain-clothes administrative staffer on what appears to be almost a social basis. A sergeant enters. What questions has this man refused to answer? Matthias looks up from his almost blank clipboard. Date of birth, social, height, weight, almost everything. The sergeant turns to me. There will be problems for you if you fail to answer. I tell him I do not have the training to withstand torture for very long, but will non-violently resist for as long as possible. We don't torture people here, comes the shocked response.
Cycle Cai.
They collect with respect.